Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about some best practices with inviting because inviting is probably the scariest thing that people do, and yet it's the one thing that can actually make their business really go really well. And so it's worth the effort to get out of your comfortable stance. And this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to send people to your website and say, "Hey, just look around, just whatever." Because I want you to think of this. When somebody's coming to you and they're asking you what you're doing, you need to immediately start asking them like what they're doing, what they look like. So to me, if you send somebody to your website and you just tell them to look around, you've kind of shown them some that you're not confident, really. There's no better way to explain that. And I know that you're trying to come off as not salesy, but in trying to come off as not salesy, you're actually showing that you're not confident in the products and you really don't care too much about them because to me, if you've sent somebody to your site and just told them to look around, you have not formed that person in trying to find out what they need, what they're looking for, what they've been successful with. People don't want choices. So one of the things that people make a mistake in is they start talking about all these different programs. And in reality, what you need to do is spend a lot of time with your customer or potential customer, asking them questions, thinking about, what they're looking for, what they like to do, and then your job as the expert, as the coach, is to match them with things. I have found this when I offer people two things or more than two things, they wind up buying nothing because they want that, they're looking for that confidence to come from you. And I know that in your mind you're thinking that, hey, I just want to, I want them to figure out like what they need and all that other stuff. But you're the coach. You're the one they're coming to. For instance, when you go to a clothing store or you go to a car store, do they just tell you to like walk around? Or do they kind of like start asking you, what are you looking for? What are you doing? Let me show you this car. Let me show you this dress. Honestly, when I have people who work in a clothing store that bring me like exactly what I want, I love it because then I don't have to think. I trust their judgment and it makes my shopping experience a whole lot easier. Like there's girls that I work with in this one clothing store and I don't even have to think. Like I go in there and I'm like, I have this event for Beachbody, I have that event, it's going to be casual, it's going to be on the beach, like, and they're like bing, bang, 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 bang. So what you need to do as a coach is you need to ask more questions. And I know it's funny because everybody always tells me they don't want to be salesy and then they wind up doing things that are kind of very salesy and actually show that they kind of don't care. Like our website is not the easiest to navigate. So first of all, when you start sending people to your website, you're not going to really know where to go. They're not really going to know what to look for. And so the next thing is challenge packs because what happens is um, I can tell you that for 3 or 4 months I did not sell a challenge pack. And I don't even think I sold Shakeology. And it was really crazy because Shakeology was the thing that changed my life. But I was so afraid to say it. So I get that. I get that you're completely afraid and you're afraid of the sticker shock. But here's the thing. When you ask your person questions, you can start to develop how you are going to tell them about Shakeology. Now, when people ask me what's the price, I do not answer that question. A lot of people feel like the customer controls the conversation, and that's not true. You are always in control of the conversation. And so when people ask me how much things are, I start asking them questions. What is your nutrition like? Do you have sugar cravings? Do you overeat or do you undereat? Do you find like you have no time to get meals in? When you start to figure out all that information from somebody, it actually starts to create a situation where you're going to start explaining Shakeology from their problems. And I don't care what you say, if you can tell somebody that what you're giving them in Shakeology is going to help them and solve their problem, people will put higher value on that. So that when you tell them how much it is, they're not going to get sticker shock with you, because they're going to be like, oh, wow, I can replace a meal. I'm not going to have sugar cravings. I'm not going to be in my cabinets at night. All of that stuff makes people more open-minded to the price of it. And in terms of challenge packs, I tell people, I'm so glad you want the 21-day fix. It's on sale this month, and what's awesome is that Shakeology is usually at full price, but when you buy these together, you're actually getting it at half off, so it's a steal. And if you are even this much interested in Shakeology, you really want to go with the challenge pack, and let me explain why. Because most people, what happens is they just buy the program, and they're still struggling with the things like sugar cravings. They're still struggling with eating at night and things like that. And they're still struggling getting through their workout and recovering from the workouts. And so what happens is 2 weeks later, they're like, all right, I'm ready to try Shakeology. And then they have to buy it at full price. So I just like people to know, how they can get future discounts and how they can save money, because that's my job. And so when you approach it that way, the person doesn't feel like, oh, she's just trying to sell me this expensive shake. And then when I talk about Shakeology, I always put 2 videos in my email or text to somebody, and I say to them, most people think that Shakeology is a protein shake, and I will say, but it's not. Here's what's in it. And then there's a video, a YouTube video. And then I'll say, about the nutrition, about Nutrition Dense or whatever, and then I will provide a video there. When I provide those videos, I have almost a 90% closing rate of selling a challenge pack. So you don't have to be the only one that sells Shakeology. We have tools in in the office, YouTube videos that you can use to explain Shakeology, because most people think they're paying $130 for a protein shake, and we all know that that's not what Shakeology is. But you might not have the verbiage to be able to explain that. So let Beachbody do it, Let Beachbody explain that. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about inviting. To me, I always have a coach, Cindy, and she's pissed at me because she's like, I can't believe you waited so long to invite me. And I was like, I was actually afraid, and I thought that since you worked out all the time that you wouldn't be interested. And here it turned out to be life-changing. She moved her family to Florida. She's loving life. She loves what she does. And so you need to look at your inviting, that you're giving somebody like a gift, whether it's the business opportunity or whether it's, a challenge pack. Because to me, I failed so much in my life in terms of just feeling like shit and doing the things that I needed to do. I was working out. I was eating well, at least so I thought. And, I really wish I would have learned of these products a long time ago. So your invite doesn't need to be, hey, join my challenge group. It can be just starting a relationship with people. It can be sending a message like I just sent a message out today from a lady who had kind of was interested, and I saw she was sick and she was obviously having some kind of surgical procedure. So I just sent her a message and I was like, hey, I just want to check on you and see how you're doing. And I do that, and I don't do that authentically. I'm not trying to get any outcome. I'm not trying to get a sale from it. I'm trying to deepen my relationships with people so that people trust me, and that so therefore it makes it an easier process to bring them in to Beachbody and to our products, because you've established that trust with people. You've established that. Now here's the thing. A lot of people feel like they establish that trust and then they're afraid to ask them. You're allowed to ask people to join your challenge group. You're not disrespecting anybody or doing something wrong by asking them to join your challenge group, or talk about a challenge pack, or talk about Shakeology, or talk about the business opportunity. They did a study and they found that most people actually want somebody to tell them they would be a good coach rather than them coming up with the idea of themselves. And so you can think of how many people you might have on your news feed that this job would just be amazing. Maybe they're out of work. Maybe they hate their job. Maybe they just had a baby and they don't want to have to go back to work. I mean, there's all sorts of different reasons why somebody would be good at this and why this would be valuable to them. So I just wanted to, hopefully that helps you to understand that inviting doesn't have to be so scared. And then we're going to talk about the contact list later, but I know some of you had said that, you have emails from people that you have collected for other things. There's nothing wrong with saying to people like, hey, how are you doing? I just wanted to let you know that I'm in this new venture. I really love it. I've lost 20 pounds. I feel incredible. And so I kind of feel obligated that I kind of want people to know what I'm doing. And so, if you know of anybody that is struggling or could benefit from my services, I would love that you would think of me. And here's the thing, you sent it to them. So it's not like you sent it to them like, hey, I think you're fat and I think you should join me. You sent it like, hey, I value your opinion and I just joined this. And if you know anybody, please, refer me or whatever. And here's the thing, if they personally are struggling, because you've done it in such a way that wasn't obnoxious, they might say to you, hey, I need to lose 20 pounds. Can you help me with that? So it's just a way of doing it. The best way I can describe this job is really creatively and authentically creating relationships with people that are meaningful and that are problem solving based for your customer or for your coach. So hopefully that helps. I'm sorry, it's 12 minutes.